Hello, and welcome to the 2009 State of the City of Independence Address. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Gregory Kurtz, and I am the Mayor of the City of Independence. I am currently serving a term that started in 2008 and runs to the end of 2011. I also served the City of Independence as Mayor from 1986 until 2000. 2009 has been a challenging year economically, and we have faced it head-on by making choices, oftentimes tough choices. But at the same time, we are also setting aside time to plan for a bright and prosperous future. We created a mission statement last year, and the city's mission is to provide essential services and to enhance the quality of community life in the most economic and efficient manner possible. Council and the administration worked hard to develop that. We also created a vision statement, and the city's vision is to be the best community in which to live, work, and raise a family. Think about that. Our goal is to be the best community in which to live, work, and raise a family. So how do we do that? It takes leadership. It takes a number of people working together to create a team. You do that by implementing a leadership model that works. Our leadership model that we put in place is a 5-step process that we're implementing from the top to bottom in our organization. The first step is to model. You do, they watch. The second step is to mentor. You do, they help. The third step is to monitor. They do, you help. The fourth step is to motivate. They do, you watch. The last step is to multiply. You each go and apprentice someone else. We firmly believe in the saying, grow a leader and you grow an organization. And that is what we've dedicated ourselves to doing this past year, providing opportunities for the entire Independence team to grow. Another change that was implemented last year was that the position of Human Resources Coordinator was elevated to a director's position. So now, Heather Glaze is serving as both the Human Resources Director and the Interim Chief Administrative Officer. Heather has done a great job working with people like Vern Blaze, the Finance Coordinator, and we have created synergy that it is going to move us forward as we look to the future in trying to develop and prepare the best team. For the team that fields the best players usually wins. What we are trying to do in the City of Independence today is prepare for the future by fielding the best team, recruiting the right people, and establishing a culture where the human resources role is elevated. By developing and nurturing the city's human capital, we have been able to develop a culture of customer service. And I think most of you can attest to the fact when you come to the Civic Center or go to the rec department or you come anywhere in the City of Independence for that matter, for the most part, you are met with a courteous employee who is polite, who smiles at you, is friendly, and displays that can-do attitude by being helpful. We realized that we also needed to keep track of how well we were doing. And we are doing that through implementing best management practices, including performance measurement. We have done that, and I give Council and Finance Director Veres a lot of credit for their buy-in of this concept. We have developed a 5-year capital improvement plan, so now we know what we are going to be doing looking forward. Instead of flying by the seat of our pants, it's flexible and fluid so that we can adjust things based on the economy and how much money is available. Sometimes projects will have to be reprioritized based on the potential for some outside funding source or sources. I want to give John Veres and the Finance Department an extra shout out of recognition. as we created the city's first comprehensive annual financial report, or a CAFR. This is a very detailed report, and many of the best-run, professionally managed communities report their finances in the form of a CAFR. If anyone is bored and wants to read one, it is about an inch thick, and it's very comprehensive. And we are using this CAFR as a management accountability tool to better serve the city, not to just sit on a shelf and collect dust. If you have any questions about it or desire a copy, please contact John Veras in the Finance Department. Another performance measurement tool that we have implemented this year are quarterly departmental reviews. The most important part of this regular process is that each department is no longer just rubber stamped and is sent back to work. What we are doing now is sitting down every quarter with each department, reviewing what our goals were for the past quarter, seeing if the targets were hit, making plans to get back on track if they weren't, and then turning and looking forward as to where we want to go from here and making plans for how we want to get there. This process of reviewing the past and strategically looking into the planning for the future has been very exciting and a worthwhile process that will result in an enhanced level of customer service that will allow us to implement our mission and achieve our vision. So where exactly has this focus on? Leadership development, an elevated role of human resources, enhanced customer service, a can-do culture, performance measurement, and performance management taken the City of Independence? First, let's talk about finances. Everyone in this community has to deal with finances. It is a challenge all of us have right now, and the City of Independence is not immune to that either. In the past 10 months, income tax collections have been down from the corresponding month from 1 year earlier in 8 of those months. Year to date, as I speak, city income tax revenues are down $154,000 compared to the first 6 months of 2008. For a city that is usually watching more money come in than it did previously, that is a challenge. I can tell you that as challenging as it has been for us, there are other communities all over the country that have been laying off police officers, laying off firefighters and paramedics, and laying off service department employees. We are not in that position yet, and hopefully we won't get to that point because we have been very active in monitoring the situation and managing the city's budget and finances in a prudent and conservative manner. I told you 2 years ago when I ran for the office of mayor that we were going to make a concerted effort to pay down the city's debt. I said years ago it's going to take time, but we made a commitment, we made a concerted effort last year, and because of those efforts, we paid off almost $2 million of city debt. $2 million in a tough economy. That's commendable. I want to thank Council, Finance Coordinator Blaze, and Finance Director Veras for this accomplishment, as it is very important that we stay focused on one of our main financial goals, that is to reduce debt. Yet at the same time that the city has been paying down all of this debt, the city's total cash balance has actually improved. As any business person out there will tell you, and all of us know with your personal finances, that cash is king right now. When the economy started to really take a downturn in late summer and early fall last year, the city had a total cash balance of a little over $10 million. We are committed to paying down debt, but we also ended the month of May this year with a total cash balance of $11.65 million. Now, not all of that money is available for general use, as most of it is actually encumbered, meaning that it already has been allocated by council for specific uses. But that is a tremendous accomplishment for the city to be able to pay down debt last year in 2008 and again this year in 2009, while also increasing the city's total cash balance. How did the city accomplish this? We have accomplished it through the department directors working hard to control overtime. They were able to reduce overtime almost 40%, or over $77,000, from the first quarter of 2009 versus the first quarter of 2008. We are working hard, and it is not easy. For those of you who manage budgets, you realize how tough it is because you are used to doing things. The city has services that it has to provide, and those services cost money. Another way that the city accomplished this is through attrition. The city is not replacing staff team members when they retire or leave the employment of the city. Our management team is working very hard. They understand the impact of their decisions. They understand the importance of their decisions. Making do with less staff is an economic reality today. We also have been more proactive and smarter in some of the ways we buy commodities. Take salt, for example. The city reduced its salt consumption this past winter, even though there were many, many more individual snow events that required the snow and salt crews to go out. We have made it a priority of accepting and embracing better and more efficient and effective ways of doing things. But even by being very budget conscious, we are still getting things done. Take the police department, for example. The police department had almost the same number of traffic stops during the first quarter of 2009 versus the first quarter of 2008, yet overtime costs were reduced by over 15% during the time period. But remember, we will never be 100% overtime free in this community because we always have emergencies, things we can't predict. We can't predict when the snow is going to fall. We can't predict when there will be an emergency on I-77. We can't predict when the ambulance is going to get called out, and sometimes overtime will be incurred. We may never get to zero, but we can be prudent and use best management practices to reduce overtime to the best of our abilities. In the fire department, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Ryan Daly and Mark Coyner. They both received the very prestigious Chris Holt Award. An employee in Valley View was involved in a severe industrial accident, and because of their hard work, and because of their training, and because of the way the city invests money in training dollars, they saved this man's arms, which led to the earning of this award. Our fire department, working closely with the building department, is available to conduct home safety evaluations. And recently, 3 homes in Independence were detected to have carbon monoxide that exceeded safe limits. This is a very valuable service that the city is providing. The fire department also has something else that is coming on board now, EMS billing. Council adopted legislation last year authorizing this program. We are getting it going now. And remember this, I'm going to say it and say it again. Do not pay if you get a bill in the mail after you're taken to the hospital. Do not pay that bill. Independence residents will not be charged by the City of Independence. Your insurance company will be charged, but you will not be expected to pay any out-of-pocket costs for transport. So remember, do not pay. The last point I want to make with the fire department is that, and this is really important, look at the bottom line, response time. For those of you who had the experience of calling your emergency number, your 911, for a response, it feels like it takes forever. But the average response time in 2008, citywide, was just over 5 minutes. The fire department does a great job and is to be commended. The community service department, Look at what they do every day. Many of you benefit from all the different services, programs, and events that the Community Services team puts together. Look at the stats for 2008. There's one point that I want to make about this department. Look at the volunteer hours. Over 2,500 volunteer hours and 367 volunteers. An amazing testament to the giving persona of this community. Look at 56,000 room rental guests over at the Civic Center. I remember when the issue to build the facility was passed back in 1990. It is hard to believe it is almost 20 years old. It passed by only 30 plus votes. And now this community has this magnificent facility, and look at the great number of people who benefit from it on a daily basis. In the Recreation Department, can you believe that there are almost 600 young boys and girls from our community that participate in Little League and travel team baseball last year? Go to the recreation side of the Civic Center or go to the park someday. Go to the park during the summer if you want to see a lot of energy and excitement. That was me before I started to age. The point is that there is so much activity going on in the city's recreation programs. Go to the pool this summertime. It is amazing the amount of energy that is created from the youth of our community. Look at the Civic Center members. Over 3,800 Civic Center memberships sold in 2008. We have a lot of people utilizing the Civic Center, Elmwood Park, the pools, the field house, and all of the different facilities that we manage and are responsible for. Speaking of the field house, it generated over $38,000 in revenue in 2008, and hats off to Bill Furman for this accomplishment. In the service department, I talked briefly about salt usage earlier. Well, the city used about 7,800 tons of salt this past winter compared to over 9,200 tons the previous winter. That has two primary benefits. One, it helped lower the amount of money spent on salt, and two, it helps us take care of the environment better by spreading less salt. Police Chief Nicastro will tell you that statistics will show that there was not an increase in weather-related traffic incidents either, even though the city spread less salt this past winter. Rubbish collections. Do you believe that the city paid over $170,000 in 2008 to dispose of rubbish? The next slide is really important because imagine what the city would have to pay for trash disposal if we didn't recycle. The city recycles a tremendous amount of materials. It is a great program, but it also is an expensive program, by the way. It oftentimes is more expensive to recycle than to not recycle. But the people of Independence participate, and we are very blessed to be environmentally conscious and have another great municipal program. The tree program speaks for itself, and the mulch program is another one of those unique opportunities that we have, which we are blessed to be able to provide. Most people don't understand and realize that the Technical Services Department even exists. But you certainly do when the temperature in the room changes, or the pump doesn't work at the pool, or the boiler is not working in the outdoor pool. This is a group of guys that are the behind-the-scenes guys. They are the guys who go out and make sure that the thermostats are working, the lights are working, all the mechanical systems are working, perform all the facility maintenance and repairs. They do a great job. The city also created a green team with the goal of making the city's buildings more environmentally friendly and more efficient. We created the green team to go around and start working step by step, methodically making all of our facilities more efficient. The tech services team is also helping to build out the engineering offices. more behind-the-scenes work. The City Senior Services Department is coordinated by Kathleen Kapusta. Look at the number of seniors that we serve and the different programs available through this department. As part of the No Place Like Home program, we are going to do even more this year to help people stay in their homes. Not just limited to seniors only, the city is going to sponsor a farmers market this summer. Luther Farms is going to be part of that program and use the old middle school property, and you will be able to go to the farmers market for some of your fresh fruits and vegetable needs. The farmers market should be a great event, and hopefully it will achieve broad community participation. This is one that everyone loves, Mayor's Court. What is amazing is the people donated $9,500 that was then distributed to local nonprofit organizations. $9,500 was able to be generated and distributed to seniors and to our other organizations and programs, all helping the needy. Mayor's Court collected over $400,000 in fines in 2008, of which $300,000 stays in the City of Independence. The other $100,000 went to Garfield Heights Municipal Court. I think the most important point about Mayor's Court is the 25 and Alive program and other similar programs that Angie Zalesnik has put together over the past decade. This program is over 10 years old, and we are fortunate that the majority of council saw that the wisdom in putting together programs to help our youth, to help our young adults who are in trouble, and see that there is a way to divert some of our children away from a challenged future. I see it every week with the juvenile cases that I hear. If we can help in the diversion process, and we can take and help these youths through the programs one at a time, then we are doing our part to cement and retain the community of Independence as we once knew it. If we can win just one child back, it is less of a burden on society. And I applaud Angie and her team, who takes care of all of the recommendations for the court. I don't make those decisions. She provides those opportunities and makes those decisions. I give her a lot of credit because it is not always an easy thing to do. And we've been very successful with plenty more than just one child. One thing you have to be aware of is the Exterior Property Maintenance Code Enforcement Program. We made a concerted effort in 2008 to work with property owners to help them maintain Independence community standards. And we are going to stay on that track this year. Here's the reason. What makes Independence different from most of our other communities or neighbors? Our housing stock. Maintaining our housing stock to community standards is a responsibility that each of us bears. The only way we can maintain and uphold the community standards that separates Independence from other communities is if everyone accepts responsibility for their homes and properties. Every employee that goes around the city has been empowered to present information to the building department. If you need help, Service Director Dave Schneiderburn has containers available, and he will always be there to assist you. The building department can assist you with various loan and home improvement programs that exist for your benefit. Everyone has to contribute to the efforts to clean up and maintain their properties. That is not something that I can do, that council can do, or even the department directors can do. It is something that each and every one of us has the responsibility to do, maintain our properties. Hopefully, it never gets to the point of citations, but we have had a few of those over the last couple of years. The bottom line is that enforcing the city's exterior property maintenance code is very important. if we are going to maintain the character and community standards of Independence that the majority of residents have come to enjoy, appreciate, and expect. The last thing I want to point out in regards to the building department is that traditionally, we have a significant, if not steady, number of housing starts in Independence each year. To show you how challenged the economy was last year, Independence only had 3 housing starts, only 3 new housing starts in 2008. It looks like there might be a slight increase this year in regards to the housing starts, but nothing yet that reflects the past historical amount of building activity. The engineering department is something that we created and started last year. Council approved the creation of the position, and more of the city's engineering work is now being performed in-house at a cost savings to you, the residents. By way of history, the City Hall Annex was built in 1996. It originally only housed the building department, but there was room set aside at that time for a future engineering department. What we have done is to hire Don Ram as the city engineer. By the building and engineering departments working more collaboratively, we will become more efficient for the City of Independence. So we look forward to being able to help each and every one of you when you have building or engineering related problems. You will be able to go to the Annex building and get results in a one-stop shop atmosphere. So where do we go from here? What's in store for the City of Independence? First, we now have our mission statement, which includes the statements to provide essential services and to enhance the quality of community life. That answers the question, why does the City of Independence exist? We have a vision statement, which includes the goal of being the best community that answers the question, what does the City of Independence want to be? We will use both of these statements to provide direction and clarity to everything that we do. Leadership development has taken center stage within our departments, and that leadership development includes managing and growing the city's human resources capital, creating a customer service culture, not only trying to manage performance, but to measure it too, all with the goal of creating a very high-performing organization. We are going to enhance the No Place Like Home program because we need to keep our seniors in the City of Independence. And we're going to continue to try to do the best we can in providing as many services as we can for you. The city's website will be enhanced and upgraded. I am amazed to see how many seniors are very computer and internet savvy. You made your point clear to me that the city needs to become more advanced with its technology. You'll be able to register online, access more data and information, and find out more about your community. So this is a big step. We are going to invest some money, but we are going to invest in the future of this community when we do just that. As far as the future, I'm an optimist. The City of Independence has to take a long-term view. Please take away the fact that your community leaders in the city are planning Independence's future today. Just because there is a lull in the economy right now, that doesn't mean there can be a lull in the planning for a better future for all of us. We are not going to sit back and just think that the current economic climate is going to last forever. We are going to go out and proactively attempt to guide Independence toward a bright and prosperous future. Northeast Ohio is a challenging business environment to begin with, but Independence will get through this, and we are going to tell you openly and honestly what steps we are going to take to deal with these challenges. We are hopeful that our long-term focus our strategic budgeting, and our conservative financial management will result in us not having to take some of the more drastic budgeting and operational measures that other communities have had to take. But I read an article recently in the Washington Post that indicates that forecasters and economists are predicting double-digit unemployment extending possibly well into 2010. If that is true, that will have a negative impact on the city's income tax revenues going forward. And our conservative financial planning now in 2009 will have paid off. Going forward, you will have full disclosure of what we are doing with your money, your resources. The bottom line is that we are going to be more effective, more efficient to you, the residents, and you, the working income taxpayers that provide the city with the bulk of its operating revenue. Although times are challenging today, we will continue to plant the seeds of tomorrow's successes today. With that can-do attitude, we can and we will accomplish great things in the coming years ahead. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening today. If you have any questions about the state of the city, please do not hesitate to call me at the mayor's office. Also, you can check the city's website at www.independenceohio.org, as well as the city's cable access channel to view this address at your convenience. Have a great day. Thank you again for your attention. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the great city of Independence. Thank you.